Glad to know you're still with us. This is Plus Politics. I still have my guest in the studio. And before we went on that break, you were sharing your thoughts on, the option of amendment to the Constitution. We've had 3 amendments, don't forget.
Yes. In the time that we have, we might need to continue to resort to amendments to, adjust to, because that's the whole idea of amendments anyway, to adjust to challenges that as they crop up and all of that, But we're just saying that, look, on the long run, to have a lasting solution, so that you don't have to start amending, because the whole idea about having a new constitution is that whatever you're amending and whatever amendments you need to make will all be incorporated in what you have. So the issue of amendment will not come in. So that's like a lasting solution, a long-lasting solution to some of the challenges that we're facing, basically.
Would I be wrong if I infer that you're both in support of a new constitution for this country?
Support, yes. For me, yes. I'm not sure.
A new constitution. I think that, when he said that to have a lasting constitution, it's not possible. There would always be amendments that come up whenever when there's a challenge and there's something missing. So a constitution is not hard and fast, right? Every time another challenge comes up, we would amend the constitution. It's if you ask me, it's the way laws are made. You have a law today that says you shouldn't cross the streets, and then maybe they make a BRT lane, and then there's a tweaking to that law. We had a law that says vehicles on the road should go in a particular direction, and then you bring kekes come on, and you're wondering, are they vehicles or do they fall under motorcycles? And then you do have an amendment to the law. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, amendments will continually be made to the Constitution.
So you prefer...
So what I think is that right now, this Constitution, we haven't even, to a large extent, right, implemented majority of the conclusion. We're just making amendments. So I think that what we should do is, at least for the time being, right, continue to amend the Constitution. And if you ask me, the 8th National Assembly amended the Constitution, it was because there was a disconnect between the president and the Senate a lot of the times in the last dispensation. Okay. And so all those amendments were not because of the people. It was because of some kind of power play.
If we have time, we'll talk a little about that 8th National Assembly amendment effort. Yes. But you wanted to say something while she was talking.
Okay, so I was going to say that there's actually a difference between, how do I put it now? Legislations and the Constitution. The thing about Constitution is that it is a ground norm. It is the #1 law. It's the most important law, and it is one. The United States Constitution, you can count the number of times that you amended since independence. So amending the Constitution is not something. The whole idea is not for you to continue to amend as often as possible. If we succeed in getting a new Constitution, chances are that in the next decade we might find no need to actually amend it. That's the idea. Because we will foresee the future. What I mean is we will anticipate some challenges that we have and we'll look for a way to cater for them rather than continual amendment, which is what we have right now. So that's why I said to some extent, yes, having a new constitution that will be an offshoot of a sovereign national conference might just be a good idea, might just be a way forward for us.
Okay, we are a very plural society. So many issues that needs to be addressed, from devolution of power to restructuring, to resource control, to ethnic biases, and all of that. In a scenario where we are to embark on the ambitious drive to get a new constitution, what should be the key element that should be very defined in whatever constitution we take? Let me start with you.
First of all, we have to get the input of the people. It's very clear. There has to be a constitution that every tribe, that would almost be impossible to do, but have almost every tribe involved in putting the constitution together. The people's opinion has to carry. Unfortunately for us in Nigeria, the people's opinion is very tribalistic.
Yeah, let's agree that the people's opinion are a given. There are stronger issues. The issue of restructuring. This government said they constituted a committee to define what restructuring meant to them, right? But this was part of the promise that was given. And then we have the issue of devolution of powers, to the subunits and all of that. These are key issues. aside from them, or inclusive of them, what other issues are key for any new constitution? Should we consider it?
New constitution.
Okay, I think maybe I should bring that question to you.
If you can have a new constitution that addresses those issues that you mentioned, we are good. I assure you. We don't do we need more new issues. I tell you, because one thin line that ties everything together, you know, is the issue of true federalism. So that's why when you talk about restructuring, when you talk about resource control, everything, one thing that, you know, links everything up together is the issue of true federalism. And what that basically means is that, look, let us have federating units that will have power, you know, wide powers to control their resources, to generate income. What we have right now is a management nightmare. You have component units all going with their bows, going to the center to say, come and give us. And it is an aberration. You know, what we had before independence, which I believe the Learned Senior Advocate of Nigeria, you know, was alluding to a large extent, was a situation whereby the units, that's the regions, were able to control their resources. There was, you know, healthy competition among them. They were able to control their resources and then generate income. And then they were now, you know, they were the one that was, you know, contributing to the center, not the other way around. So to some extent, it might even be wrong to call us Federal Republic of Nigeria, because in actual fact, what we are practicing is quasi-federalism. It's not the actual federalism. So I think if we can take care of that particular issue, which is the point the Learned Senior Advocate was actually making.
We've been talking about new constitution, but we have a culture, in quote, of impunity in this country. We have a whole lot of, there is need. People are also talking about reorientation. If we address the issue of the constitution, you know, lawyers, you people are smart. There's always a way you will find to try and wiggle your way to get your way. So where is the place of national reorientation, education, important, and economic revolution in all of this?
Okay, the truth is that we do need to, we need to educate the nation. A lot of Nigerians today have a very funny view of what it means to be Nigerian, what they expect as a Nigerian. A lot of people, you know, have gotten the short end of the stick. So first of all, our level of expectations have dropped drastically. A lot of people can't, you know, I was telling somebody today that, my blood is green. You know, that I'm a Nigerian trying to, nothing is going to, but there's so many people who can't say that, not that they don't want to, but the country has not giving them the confidence to stand up anywhere and say that they're Nigerians. So the first thing we need to do is give the people confidence in the country. You can, as much as you want to orient people, they must first be confident in the fact that, okay, this country has something in it for me. Then we will move towards thinking about reorienting them, and then educating them. You know, but first of all, recently I heard that they've returned history back to schools. You know, taking away the history of a nation. First of all, people don't even understand where they're coming from. So those are the things we need to first imbibe in the Nigerians. We have to go back to where we're proud of our nation, where we're able to say, okay, I'm a Nigerian, and be proud to say so and mean it.
Your quick thoughts on that before we go to
yes,
the last question.
there was a point she was making earlier, which is the fact that, look, maybe amending the constitution might not be the right thing. Now, I agree with that to some extent, because, you know, even if you get a new constitution, ultimately, you need the political will to do the right thing, to abide by the rule of law. So even if you get a brand new constitution, if those things are not addressed, you know, the challenges, you know, will continue to pop up, will continue to be like, you know, a vicious cycle, you know. So indeed, and then the point you raised about, you know, education, political education, you know, that's why we say it must be, you know, it must be people driven, because you cannot be people driven if they are not enlightened as to their roles, as to what they need to do, as they need to know, as to what their focus should be in the whole process. So yes, you know, having a new constitution and you know, having enlightening the people is something that must go simultaneously, side by side, for us to have a successful process if we succeed in getting a new constitution.
Okay, I'm told we have limited time, so I'm just going to ask you this last thought. Do you see, the new constitution that we envisage be able to address the issues that has caused agitation for groups like IPOB, Boko Haram? Do you see that ever happening?
No. Let me be very clear. No. Some of these organizations don't even want to be in Nigeria. Boko Haram the case is clear-cut. Whether we have a new constitution, unless the constitution says don't go to school in the north, then Boko Haram is never going to be satisfied. IPOB, if we don't do a Biafra, IPOB is never. So I'm not sure that if we have a new constitution, there's anything that will satisfy, in particular, those two groups. It's true. The
big questions remain: how can we make this entity called Nigeria work? Big question, but thank you very much for coming on the program tonight. All right, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be discussing Nigeria paying the UK 3.2 trillion naira. Stay with us.